So let's continue. I had here, let me go back to this one. We don't have any errors. And so the mounted, remember we were talking about the lifecycle hooks where we talked about before create, created, and all of those options before mounted. So I just like using this one because that is when the view is actually mounted, and then you see what you're looking at. The view of the component is mounted, and so you see it on in your browser. And the moment the view loads, maybe that's the point that I load a lot of data. So I can say console.log page mounted. Okay, so when I save, how am I going to see this? If I'm again trailing spaces, 71. What did I do? First space, but I found 6. 71. String must be single quote. Oh, okay. Should have. This is going to be annoying for some of you. Yeah, because your first time with the if it is your first time. If it is your first time with the ES lanes and then you add those rules, it's going to be annoying. But anyway, then the last one it says errors with it 4 but found 6. Line 71. I think this one. See, and therefore it's making your whole code nicer. Okay, it's going to make it nicer. So it has compiled. So here, how can we see? We have to go to the console, and you have page mounted. Okay, now let me add more cycle hooks. You see, look at the structure here that we built. Very simple and very easy. We just have this one name data, and we said let's have mounted. And so let me add created. Do we have created like this? Perhaps so that's like that too. So don't want any error. Console.log page created, and see which one is going to come first. It doesn't matter the order. It knows how it will render and patch all those properties. Okay, so let me reload, delete this one, and then reload the projects. Okay, so page created came first before mounted, and so when the page was created, we had this one, and so our code executed, and then the mounted, we had page mounted as well. And so you have all these lifecycle hooks, and so as and when you get to interact with it, you know which one becomes more important for you to use. And unless if you're developing, let's say, games and applications, you'll probably be looking for before mounted, and you might be even be looking for the before create or created and all that. But usually you might use mounted most often. Okay, so another option that you can have is components. Okay, we're not going to add any component, but I just want to show you that there are more properties that you can add. One is component. Component is what we use to register local components. We use it to register components locally. Locally means on this page, and in this page, that is where this component will be accessible, and not anywhere else but just this page. And so we have a lot. We have mixing, where you can make a function global or globally registered, or you can just make it local, and it will be added to your methods. Here I haven't added, but one of the most important things that you're going to deal with is methods. Okay, so you have methods. Now, because of how often you'll be working with method, I wanted to come first after mounted. The created you're not probably going to use, but I just want to leave it there. Methods, and then now think about methods like this. All your functions that you're going to need within this page, this is where it goes, or this is where it will go. So for example, we know that our page has something like add, and therefore what are you going to add? You're going to add a task. Okay, you're going to add a task. So if you're going to add a task, then we can have a function called add task, and then add task is going to do something. So all you do is type the function name, okay, calibrate this, and then you are done with defining your method. How about if you have more than one? Or how about if you have more than one function? Okay, for instance, on this page you can have mark as completed or delete, and so you can have 2 extra methods. So how are you going to go about this? All you do is to come here and then you press add comma, and then you add it. It's going to be mark as completed, mark as completed, and then space. See, making your code very beautiful. It's very important. The ES link. Also going to check your code. Then you add, and then say delete task. So it's going to be like this: delete task, and then yeah. So you see the structure is starting to make sense now. And so this everything that we have done in the script is for this single page. And so if you're going to have any error on your page, then you're going to know where it's going to come from. Okay, don't worry. As and when you have these errors, you know where you will go. That's why I said you have to have basic, intermediate level knowledge with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so yeah, I can save this, and now I have this one again. Where did I go wrong? Very annoying though, but it's good. Trailing space is not allowed, which is 84, 1, 84. Oh, okay. So perhaps that's what I should have done. Is it still there? Okay, fine. Trailing spaces. Do I have any trailing spaces? Okay, fine. Let me save again. Really? No trailing spaces. 84, 1. Okay, and all I can do is just to select the second one and type npm run length, and then it will fix my problem for me so that I wouldn't face. Come on, see, that's one reason I don't like run length. Yes. Okay, files have been auto fixed and no errors. So yeah, errors, which is good, making your work look neat. Rather than fixing manually, just type npm run length, and then you have, well, it seems like, yeah, I just found, oh, coding is sweet, you know. Coding is sweet.